Hey guys, thank you to all of my new subscribers. It's really cool to have others that are interested in what I'm doing in the shop. I guess I don't really know what my goals are with this YouTube channel other than to show you some ideas and projects that I think are interesting, as well as point others towards YouTubers that have been a big help to me as I dove into woodworking. But anyway, I was in the process of shooting a video of how I made challenge coin displays, specifically ones made with box joints. I was going to show off my sweet box joint jig that I built from plans made from Ed Stiles, and I'll post a link to his video in the notes. This jig allows you to make box joint sizes in 1/16 of an inch increments. No setup, no test cuts, just adjust the height of your blade and start cutting. This is a Purple Heart picture frame I made a few months ago. And the coin display I was going to demonstrate was going to have ascending width teeth in the joint, similar to what you see here. However, I promptly ruined a good piece of maple, and I don't have a picture of it, but when I did some testing to figure out the problem, this is what I came up with. Very loose joints, impossibly loose joints that are just unusable. So I first looked at the jig to find the source of the problem. I made some adjustments, but they just didn't help, so I looked at the saw itself. I put a micrometer on the blade and discovered that I had around 10 thousandths of runout about 2/3 of the way up the blade. And I'm sure the runout at the teeth was even greater, so changing out the blades didn't make it any better. So I figured the problem must be with the arbor. So then I put a micrometer on the arbor itself, and as you can see, it's on the smooth part where the blade is seated. Now here I'm trying to jiggle the trunnion assembly to see whether or not there was any play in it, and there was none. Solid. So as I turned the arbor, I could see that there was 2 thousandths of movement. No telling how much that translated to by the time you got to the teeth of the blade. So I took the arbor out of the saw, and what I discovered was that the main bearing, which is the bearing that is closest to the blade, had play in it. Now, not that the bearing was bad, but it wiggled on the arbor itself, and you can see here that I can move the bearing off the arbor with one hand. That is unacceptable. So I have new parts on order, and I should be up and running next week. Now my table saw is a Craftsman hybrid. The model number is 21833. Now Home Depot sells this same saw under the rigid badge, and I have heard, maybe I read in just one source, that the Grizzly hybrid contractor saw may also be the same saw, but I don't have that confirmed. But the saw really ran well when I first got it, but after about a year, the worm gear that raises a trunnion wore down to where the grooves wouldn't catch, so I was stuck at full height. Fortunately, it was under warranty, so Sears came out and replaced the shaft and the trunnion itself. But then I couldn't adjust the blade square to the miter slots, so I had to grind more adjustment into the holes where the trunnions bolt to the table. And that was a pain, but it did fix it. Now I guess the issue is, how did my arbor become worse over time? I know arbors can come warped and bearings can go bad, but I never heard of one having this problem develop as it did. Anyway, thanks again for subscribing. I apologize I couldn't post anything better than this for now, but I should be back in business soon. So I hope everyone has a great week.